How to develop millionaire spending habits. Do you ever stop and wonder how many multimillionaires you may encounter on a daily basis? Probably not, since they don't often look the part. There is a chance that they are your next-door neighbor or even a guy you pass every day on the street. The point is, you just don't know because they usually don't stand out. Now, of course, you do have the narcissist that wants you to know he's loaded. But for the majority of them, they do an excellent job of masking it or blending in. You might be shocked to know how many millionaires actually live in your neighborhood. They're not living lavishly or flaunting what they have, but they live within their means and splurge occasionally. Hi, you've reached Finance Sense, the place where we discuss all the latest trends in the financial markets and the economy. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit the bell notification button, and subscribe to our channel so that you can stay up to date with our new videos. Having said that, let's get started. Over a 5-year period, Thomas Corley, the author of Rich Habits, studied millionaires. He surveyed over 200 millionaires and examined their spending patterns and personality factors related to their careers. They all had $3.2 million more in net liquid assets, which included cash, bank deposits, and investments that may be easily converted to cash, such as stock. Additionally, they made at least $160,000 in gross yearly income. According to Corley's research, there are typically 4 distinct categories of millionaires. The first is a high-level corporate climber. Someone who is employed by a huge corporation invests all of their time and effort towards developing their career inside the company until they are appointed to an executive position with a high income. Then comes the virtuoso. They are highly regarded as experts in their field and earn a high salary as a result of the value placed on their knowledge and skills. The second sort of millionaire is often required to have a formal education, including higher degrees, commonly in law or medicine. Next, the dreamer entrepreneur. These individuals are working for their goals, whether it be starting their own company or breaking into the arts like acting, singing, or writing. Dreamers put their all into their work, and their efforts are rewarded financially. The fact that they are entrepreneurs distinguishes them from other individuals, as their earning potential is limitless in comparison to that of an employee. Lastly, the investor saver. It makes no difference what their day job is, how much money they make, their credentials, or the opportunities provided to them. These people regularly place a high priority on saving and investing, and they are continuously seeking creative methods to increase their wealth. Since they demonstrate that being a millionaire is possible for everyone, regardless of their line of work, this group of millionaires is the most relevant to the average person. It's typical to see a millionaire as a senior executive at a Fortune 500 firm or as someone who had a life-changing idea and was able to launch an extremely successful company. In reality, the majority of millionaires were able to cross the $1 million mark by simply belonging to the saver investor group of regular people. Being a saver investor and becoming a millionaire has the least hurdles to entry since you do not need to be brilliant, have significant degrees, or work unreasonable hours. They place their money in investments with a track record of growth rather than taking substantial investment risks. To become a millionaire saver investor, there are no prerequisites. Anyone can start their path to financial success right now, regardless of whether they have a high school diploma or come from poverty. According to Corley, you should try to maintain your spending at 80% of or less than your take-home salary if you want to join the saver investor group and become a millionaire. He discovered that saver investors set a goal of saving at least 20% of their income or more and invest that money diligently by adopting a thrifty mindset and making investing a priority. This is the most frequent method used by participants in Corley's research to become millionaires since it is a very straightforward process. So how do these investors and savers group their spending in order to maintain their frugality and prevent impulsive buying? Number 1, housing. Everyone's home expenses make up the greatest portion of their budget. This may be because people frequently purchase too many homes relative to their income, or the rent they pay is just too high. Furthermore, they don't want to make further compromises like sharing a room with a roommate. As a result, they use most of their income to pay rent. Millionaires with a savings plan limit their housing expenditures to 25% of their monthly income or less to avoid going overboard on this expense. When you're happy living in a tiny house or apartment, you might save a lot of money on utilities and other expenses that come with having a larger place, in addition to your rental mortgage. These people are also prepared to make compromises regarding the location. Instead of insisting on living in a desirable neighborhood in the city, They understand the value of being frugal when it comes to housing and that settling for something less desirable would pay off. It is virtually tough to save and invest aggressively when you overspend in this category. But right now, housing and rent are pretty costly. It is a fair concern to believe that there is no way it could account for merely 25% of your budget. Whether you buy or rent, the cost of housing has soared in recent years. Therefore, it's okay if you estimate modest accommodations and wind up spending 30% of your income. Do you think that will help you increase your wealth? No, but keep in mind that Tom Corley's study was completed quite some time ago and that circumstances have undoubtedly changed since then. But the fundamental idea has not changed. The key lesson here is that millionaires don't spend on their living expenses based on social norms or a desire to flaunt their wealth. Instead, they do it as necessary. Number 2, food and home items. Like everyone else, millionaires require food and clean clothes. They will therefore set aside a portion of their monthly incomes for these expenses. But it only represents 15% or so of their net pay. They pay attention to their expenditures in this area rather than ordering in every night or dining out at expensive restaurants weekly. This may involve controlling how much food you waste, which most people are unaware may cost them up to $100 each month. Number 3, cars. In Tom Corley's study, millionaires only allocated 5% or less of their net income to transportation. The millionaire saver investors who were the subject of the study only spent 5% of their income on transportation. This covers regular car payments, insurance, gas, registration fees, repairs, and maintenance. Despite the fact that millionaires occasionally drive expensive vehicles, this does not indicate that they are devoting a significant portion of their income to them. How would you reduce your car expenditure to 5% then? Here are several methods you may use to get closer to this amount. First, you must eliminate your car payment. Saving money to purchase a new or used automobile avoids a sizable monthly payment expenditure. Second, use public transportation whenever possible, such as when you travel to work. Finally, drive responsibly. Fewer repairs will be necessary if you take good care of your car. Furthermore, you will undoubtedly accelerate your journey to wealth if you can keep your car for 10 or more years. Number 4, clothes. While it's human nature to want to look attractive, Corley's research on millionaires showed that they did not spend a fortune on their appearance. When it comes to their clothes, they only spend 5% or less of their after-tax income. So, in contrast to what the media would like you to believe, millionaires don't spend a lot of money on jewelry and designer clothes. Instead, it's quite the opposite. There are undoubtedly incredibly wealthy people who buy luxury goods and have huge clothing collections, but most millionaires dress in affordable clothing. This is one reason why they fit in so well with the general population. They do this as it is better to be wealthy rather than merely appear wealthy. 5th, go on vacation. We all like time off from work, and the millionaires in Corley's research discovered that enjoying priceless moments of life doesn't have to be expensive. Millionaires only took vacations with 5% or less of their after-tax income. It's common for a middle-class family to spend a considerable amount of money on an annual family trip. Whether it's a trip to Disneyland or the Bahamas, these trips are too pricey for the ordinary family. Millionaires who invest and save prudently allocate portions of their take-home salary to travel. Despite taking modest, budget-friendly trips, they don't deprive themselves of travel and pleasure. Number 6, entertainment. Depending on the individual, this cost may differ significantly. For the millionaires in the research, 10% or less of their after-tax incomes were spent on entertainment, which included going out to pubs and restaurants, ordering takeout, watching movies, listening to music, reading books, and more. These costs are necessary for leading a balanced life, but they should be used cautiously because going out 1 or 2 more evenings per month will significantly affect your ability to save and invest. Currently, millionaire saver investors tend to save at least 20% of their incomes. And now, let's talk about how you can do the same. Consider that your annual salary was only $50,000. By implementing measures to cut generally higher expenditures while also striving to increase your income, you may save 20% of your take-home salary, or around $750 each month. It is absolutely feasible to get a 20% savings rate. So, as a starting point, you should consider how much you're spending on expenses like rent and transportation. You may quickly reduce your monthly or mortgage costs by simply downsizing your living space. Alternatively, if you don't want to leave, you may figure out how to generate money from your current home. As a homeowner, you may, for instance, rent out a room. As a renter, you might volunteer to help with renovations, such as making repairs to the house if you have the necessary skills, or caring for the property by raking leaves and shoveling snow. You can regularly employ these simple actions to have your rent reduced and get closer to your desired 20% savings rate. Alternatively, it would be best if you made a concerted effort to reduce your car expenses. The average person spends $1,000 per month on transportation, which is a significant amount if you have a low income. Given that most bus passes only cost around $100 per month, replacing some of your driving with bus travel makes sense. Once some of these major costs have been covered, determine how close you are to saving 20% of your income. It's difficult to save 20% of your salary, but nothing worthwhile comes without effort. Thank you for watching this far. Please leave a like, subscribe to help us expand our future audience, and comment down your thoughts in the comment section. This is Finance Sense, helping you keep up with all the latest trends in the financial markets and the economy. Stay safe and look out for the next video.